Thank you, Rob. I'm not going to use that one. I think you guys can all hear me with this, right? Awesome.
Yep.
So we are Concordia Clan. We are the Oregon chapter of the Mandalorian Mercs Costume Club. And what the Mandalorian Mercs Costume Club is it is a fan club that is affiliated with Lucasfilm and Disney. We're recognized by them as an entity and they allow us to exist. And our primary purpose is to go out into the communities and entertain and give back to our respective communities. And we do that by building our own armor and going out to do parades, birthday parties, conventions, all that kind of thing. And we have a great time. We have a blast with all the kids that we interact with and all the adult fans as well. And that's what we exist to do in our mission statement, so to speak. And we are a worldwide organization. We have members on every continent except for Antarctica. We're trying to get an outpost down there. I was actually talking to someone earlier this month, last month, excuse me, about he used to work down there, so he's on board. So 6 continents, and we have over 1,300 members now, worldwide. Here in Oregon, we have 24 members, and I see a few out in the audience here, and then we have several members up there. Yeah, they're waving. You're back. So
It's for me.
we are actually a charitable organization in of ourselves. We have our in-house charity called Little Warrior International. And what that does is it supplies funds to children victims of tragedy, like the Sandy Hook shooting victims and the victims of the Oklahoma tornadoes several years back. Any excess funds that we have as an organization at the end of the year, we end up donating out to one of our respective clans. Each state or region has a clan. And what the members of that clan do is they use those funds to go buy toys at Christmas time and donate those for Toys for Tots, to Toys for Tots. So everything we do is 100% for charity, 100% for the kids and for the fans. And the cool thing that we're going to talk about today is we get to build all our own armor, all by ourselves and with the help of our fellow clanmates and our friends. And we bring all our strengths and skills of the trade all together, and we help each other grow as individuals and as costume members and as a clan itself. And it's more of a brotherhood than anything else. We're here to help each other and have each other's backs all the time. Did I miss any talking points that you can think of? All right. We're going to keep these synopsises pretty brief. I'll start out and then we'll go down the line, introduce each other, or ourselves, excuse me. And just a few sentences about who we are and why we joined the club and what it means to us. So I'll go ahead and start it out. My name is Alex, or Mr. Cole, as some of the audience members might know me. I go by Cole as my character name. And like Rob was saying earlier, I've been the leader here in Oregon for the last 2 years, and today is actually, knock on wood, my last day. So someone else will be taking over starting tomorrow, which is very exciting and refreshing for the clan. I got picked up in an airport terminal by 2 members who just threw me into their fandom and just started a brotherhood, like I was saying. And so it really was a sense of camaraderie that drew me into this. And as soon as I found out more about working with children and the great deeds that we go out and do, they had me hooked. Plus, I got to wear this all the time, which is awesome.
My name is Eric Morton. Can you all hear me? Yeah. Okay, cool. Basically, like, all my life I've wanted to make a suit of Boba Fett armor, but I never actually got around to it. I was going to do it in college, didn't do it before that. Then when I moved here, I went to Emerald City Comic Con 4 years ago. 5 years ago? Something like that. And ran into the Mandalorian Mercs there and was just like, holy shit. So there's actually a group dedicated to doing this, and you do charity. Took the next year, made my armor, was official by the next Emerald City, and that's where I've been ever since.
My name is Robert Beard. I've been with the Mercs for about a year now. I started building to get into armor so that I could build more things because right now, for some reason, I really like making sure that kids can get toys for tots. don't think the microphones are actually turned on. I started,
2 inches.
hello?
Yes, that's on.
Come on, Dan.
It's not on.
It's on.
Nice.
Can you hear me now? There you go. Yeah. All right. I started because I like charity. I was actually a Marine for 4 years in the service. So getting back into a uniform and being able to help kids, especially with any tragedies or anything like that, it hit home for me. My primary hobby in the Mercs is actually filming.
I'm Joshua DeCarlo, and I'm obnoxious. So, I got into this about 10 years ago, just for the fun of it, right out of high school. The whole charity situation is just a happy side effect. This is my last day as the Brusalor, which is third in command and generally quality control for everyone in the group. So we have our own guidelines and CRLs that we follow, make sure we do the best that we can. That's about it. I don't have anything else.
My name is Rob McFarland. I am AG Constructs on the boards, as well as been a part of Concordia Clan for the last 2 years and been an official member since October. I don't actually hold an officer status, but I've been here to kind of help to organize this event and trying to get people out there, and having you guys here is really awesome. I really appreciate it. Today alone, just to date, if you've been by the booth, which you probably have, you've seen the jail cell, which is our bounty hunts. Something that is very significant to the Mercs. It's one of our staple events that we do throughout conventions, and we were happily able to bring it to Wizard World this year. We, so far to date, have raised over $400 for Children's Cancer Association. Just in the 2 days that we've been operating the bounty hunts. So we're hoping to bring that over $600 the end of today. We're actually going to be raising another $150 to $200 for Little Warriors International on Friday when we go and troop down in Springfield. And it's really awesome to be able to do this kind of work for the community and for the charities that we're involved with, and we really appreciate all of your support. If you can, get on the boards. The website's right there. It's all the information you'll ever need to be able to make armor, meet some great people, and get involved with the community. This is a great way to give back, and it's fun, and it's really beneficial. There's a lot of camaraderie that comes along with this, people that will have your back no matter what. So without further ado, I'm going to get to this. I've tried to get everybody a piece of Sintra. I brought a 4x4 sheet and had no idea that we'd have the outcome that we did today, which is just amazing. Thank you so much for being here today. So basically, Sintra is, it's PVC. If you're all familiar with like drain pipes and whatnot, that's PVC. This is basically a foamed version. So what they do is they take it, they chemically foam it, and then they compress it back into a sheet. This is also a thermoplastic, which means that you can heat form it. Being that this is a 3mm sheet, this has all been heat formed with Sintra. It's very durable. In that, it can take a hit, maybe not a real hit, but
So one thing on Sintra is some people really like it, some people don't like it. I used exclusively Sintra on my kit for my torso and the main pieces except for my shoulder bells and my thighs. The reason I went with Sintra is because of, like Rob was saying, the durability of the Sintra. And it is very easy to cut and very easy to shape. Now, the people that argue against Sintra, from what I know of, their main concern is it's too brittle. It will break if there's too much impact on it. What I have personally found that's true if you overheat it while you're shaping it. If you do just a small amount of heat, because we use heat guns, or some guys even use hair dryers, if you do a low power heat and go very slowly over time and slowly get that curvature, it will not break and will not crack as easily as if you heat it up real good and then mold it to exactly the shape that you want. You'll notice that my armor plates are layered here. There's Sintra on top of Sintra, and each plate, each little piece had to be shaped just right and curved to my body type. So that is the advantage of house building your own armor versus purchasing it off of a builder, off of eBay or something. One, you shape it to your body type and you make sure that it fits perfectly to you. Secondly, it's a lot cheaper because you can buy entire sheets of these from Amazon or from Tap Plastics here in Portland, or you have a source down south,
Multi-craft plastics.
Multi-Craft Plastics. How much would you say a 4x8 sheet of Sintra would cost? Or
$45 to $50.
$45 to $50. And that gets you probably 2 full costumes.
I'd say I just bought a 2x4 sheet for about $18 from Tap Plastics less than a week ago. So.
There you go. So you can find it, I think Amazon has it for like $25, $30 or so.
Yeah, I was on Amazon and found like 5 3x4 sheets for $30 once.
Yeah, so it looks really impressive and it looks like real metal if you just weather it right. But people say, oh man, I can't afford that, I can't afford that. You can. It's not that hard. An entire kit from top to bottom, we've had people build kits in less than $100 for their entire thing, and it looks great. I've kind of gone overboard on mine with the jetpack and everything, so mine's a little higher than that. But that's the beautiful thing about our club is everything's customizable. Every Mando in our club is completely unique. You will never see the same Mandalorian twice, but unless it's a Jango or a Boba. But you get to build it, you get to design it, and then you get to craft it with the supplies that we're going to be talking about, however you need to.
So here I have already templated a basic shoulder belt. It's a Jango style, Jango Fett style shoulder belt. And the beauty of Sintra is, if any of you have ever put in a plastic model together, it's basically like that. When you score it, you can cut all the way through it with very, very little problem, which is sometimes you don't want to. But the nice thing about Sintra is that once you score it, it literally just kind of comes apart. Just usually. You know, it comes apart and it keeps the shape that you started with. So, for the most part, there's very little sanding involved unless you really are going for a finished look. I mean, it's terrible. You literally can cut these with scissors. The only reason why you wouldn't want to is because when you do that, it has the tendency to fracture and have fracture points. The nice thing about Sintra, like I was mentioning, is when you're weathering it, you can score it, you can use a grinder on it, you can use sanding wheels and add texture to it, you can form it. I'm going to show you that in just a second here and how easy it actually is to form. Thank you. Running out of breath. So this is a standard heat gun. You don't even need to use this. You can literally use a hairdryer. It's that easy. I mean, I can put this on the lowest setting, which is even hotter than a hairdryer, really. And it'll form it. I'm going to put it on the highest setting because I don't know how much time we have, but
Typically, please use gloves and safety equipment.
yeah, I'll try this at home. I mean, do try this at home. That's why I gave you that. You should by now all have a piece.
It's like I use gloves like this, which are dragon gloves.
Exactly.
Now, when you're deep forming
What?
Sorry.
Do you?
So, the neat thing about this is like this just like really, the thing about heat forming any material is you have to keep the shape until it cools. So if you have like a pipe fitting or something like that, you can hold it over You know, it will get a little warm. Some people say, oh, what about the fumes and all that? See, it's like, I mean, that was just like a few seconds, and it's like already starting to form. Fumes, honestly, if you're in a well-ventilated area, you're not going to really have too many issues. Some people are more sensitive than others. It really all just depends. I mean, if you're doing it like outside or on your balcony, you're good to go. You know, I mean, you can wear a dust mask and you really won't smell anything but the dust mask itself. So it's easy to grind. It's easy to shave. It's easy. You can literally bevel your edges with a razor blade. You know, if you want to. I mean, you can make complex shapes with them. If you really heat form it, you can press it down over, kind of like if anybody's familiar with vacuum forming. Okay, it's along the same lines. You can still do that. You know.
You can also use boiling water, however, that will ruin the pot you're using because it'll emit all kinds of toxic chemicals. So if you do decide to use boiling water instead of a hairdryer of some sort, don't use that pot over again for food.
Yeah.
And don't compress the plastic when it's hot. It'll collapse the internal structure and be completely ruined.
What he said, right?
Could you repeat that one more time?
The internal structure of the Sintra, when heated, is much more flexible. So if you compress it, like pinching it, it'll be completely ruined. You'll have to start all over. And don't use the same pot if you use boiling water for food. It does emit toxic chemicals that will cling to whatever the internal structure of the pot is, and that will leach out during other boiling processes.
And
Yeah.
let's say just another point really quickly, where he was showing like you can also like hold it over like a pipe or something to heat form into that to get that shape. Like for me, for my armor, I had someone helping me. They had the gloves on, and I was wearing a layer or two extra, and they just held it up against my own arms or my own chest in order to get the shape of like me. So
So could you use like rubber bands to hold it on the shape to slowly?
You could if you got it warm enough and the rubber band wasn't the same temperature as the Sintra, because if it's the same temperature as the Sintra, it could expand the rubber band and lose the intensity on it. I've used tape. I've used tape before. I've used masking tape before. Just taped it right there, heat it down. Boom.
it also doesn't stay hot that long. So like it's really just holding it for a few seconds. Or for,
It's already cool.
Yeah, it's already like.
Yeah, and if you don't have an even pressure when you're forming it, you can leave fingers to like impressions.
I've done that.
You had a question?
If you're gonna use the boiling water for it, can you reuse that pot for?
You can reuse the pot for the Sintra, but don't use it for cooking or anything like that because it'll leach out chemicals that'll stick into the pot. Anybody else have any other questions? Yes.
What's the best glue to put two sheets together?
Best glue for using, I use CA glue, which is basically super glue. You can get it at any hobby store. One thing about CA glue is when you apply it to Sintra, it will start to leach out the chemicals from the Sintra quickly. So don't try and inhale it. You'll see a little smoke, a little mist coming out of it. Just don't inhale it.
You can also use PVC cement for plumbing.
Yeah. Also, E6000 works very well. I've used that on mine.
Some adhesives will heat up though, so if you are applying Sintra to Sintra, try not to bend it when the glue is setting.
Go ahead.
Yes.
What about popping for edges or, smoothing the edges down?
Obviously I've used Bondo in the past.
That's what most of us use.
I use epoxy sculpt or fix-it sculpt from the company 80s.
Yes.
So you said you made all the other stuff out of Central. What did you make your shoulders out of?
The shoulder bells and the thighs are actually vacuum formed. I believe they're, yeah, probably.
Really quickly, what is vacuum forming? For those in the audience who don't know.
That's true.
So vacuum forming is
Veronica,
basically
stop. You need to sit up.
thermoplastic method of forming plastics or ABS plastics. What they do is they have a table that has suction holes drilled through it. They have a vacuum underneath, a very high power vacuum, usually a shop vac for the home vacuum formers. And then what they do is they heat up the plastic, and they usually have a heating element. The fancy ones have a heating element underneath, which heats up the plastic. And then they turn the vacuum on. It pulls the plastic, heated plastic, over whatever form they're going to make, whether it's this kind of form or just whatever complex form they're going to shape. The vacuum pulls it down and basically forms it over it. It creates an airtight seal from the plastic to the object, pulls it over and forms a seal that holds the plastic in the form. It's such a powerful force that you can literally shape it while it's forming and get it in really tight corners. Stormtrooper armor has been vacuum formed. If you see anybody with Stormtrooper armor, it's all been vacuum formed. I've yet to find anybody that's done a resin cast Stormtrooper.
Really quick shout outs to Harrison Criggs over at Bolton Props, who's actually tables like across from our table.
Absolutely.
He has the instructions for building your own vacuum form table at home on his website.
Oh, cool.
Yes, there's a lot of sites out there that they give this information to you because like I as a crafter, all the other crafters out there, we're not here to make a monopoly out of this. We want as many people as possible building things. Yes.
All this information, is this on the website, all these different glues and the different
All the
stuff?
different tutorials, we have tutorials beyond belief. I mean,
We're also all on there and constantly helping other people.
absolutely.
It's a,
I'm sorry, yes.
Templates, are the templates on the website?
Templates
Yes.
are on the website as well, yes.
yes, everything that we talk about, other than the materials themselves, are gonna be on our main website. Now, to access that, you have to create an account, which is free, of course. But once you log in and have your account, you'll have access to all the templates, all the works in progress, all the pictures of all our members, and like Josh was saying, or excuse me, Rob was saying, was that all of us are active on the boards and will give you direct feedback. And if you have a question, one of us or one of our 1,300 members around the globe will be there to help you and guide you through this process. It's a community more than anything else. And we're all here to help you guys build your armor so that you can come out and do all this awesome and fun stuff.
Absolutely. We also have regular armor parties. So, I run a workshop out of my home, and I host regular armor parties at least. I try and do them once a month, if not at least every other month. And I have every tool at my disposal that you could possibly ever imagine to build armor. I'm here to help you guys get out there in kit, if that's what you so desire, and make it possible for you guys to be a part of this that we are also a part of. Yes, you had a question.
So on the helmet, what is the face piece that you can see?
The
on
T-visor?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's
The
that?
T-visor is basically, what we use is a shade 5, oh there you go. It's normally a shade 5 or mirrored visor. Shade 5 is a welding visor. And we normally get face shield style welding visors that we cut out to the shape of the helmet visor that we're using at the time.
She's had a question for the longest time.
Yes,
How long did it take you to build all your armor?
excellent question.
Me personally, this version is about 2 years worth of work, but the initial build from when I started to when the first time I wore my first version was approximately 5 or 6 months. Now that's a pretty medium
fast.
size. Well, I've seen people do it in a weekend.
Well, yeah.
I've seen people do it in a month. A month is very fast. 6 months is relatively short, going on the medium range. We've had people work on their armor from start to a finished product for like 3-4 years.
Josh, how long did you take to build your armor?
I was moving from the East Coast to the West Coast, so roughly a year.
And Bofani?
My armor that got approved was 2 months.
That's fast.
Eric?
2 to 3 months worth of time spent out over the course of a year.
Okay, now I took about a year and a half. And that's just because,
Yeah. It all depends on how much time you're able to commit to it. Because if you're coming home from work every day and you're tired and you're like, I don't really want to work on it today, or like you only have the weekends, it's gonna stretch out. But if you've got 5 guys at an armor party helping you out, you can bang out an entire kit in probably 3 or 4 weeks.
Absolutely.
Easy.
it's a labor of love, and we love the labor that we do for it. Regardless of how exhausted we are at the end of the weekend, there's nothing like it, and you're never going to have an experience like it that I know of. Being able to give back to a community such as this and make it possible to look cool while you're doing it, There's really nothing else like it.
We
Yes.
do look cool.
Can kids create an account?
Kids can create it. We have what is called the Verdika Core, and that Verdika is Mandoan for little one. What it is, what's that? Little warrior. That's right. So what it is the Verdika Core is the same. We're trying to get kids to learn about community outreach. We have monthly missions that we send the kids to do with their families, with their parents, like going and picking up trash at a park, or planting seeds in a garden and bringing food to the homeless, things of that nature. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get them interested in community outreach and get them to start building that habit. Because once that habit's built, it really doesn't go away. Any other questions?
To piggyback on that
Yes.
real quick, a lot of people ask, like, hey, can the kids go on parades with us and everything? That's absolutely true. They can. A parent has to be involved, however, and be directly overseeing them. We're not babysitters, unfortunately. So as long as a parent is involved or a parent is a member, several of our members here have children and are working on armor or have worked on armor in the past. And the kids are more than welcome to join us at all our events because they are considered, once they go through the armor build process, they get their own catalog number just like the rest of us, and they become an official member of our organization. They just are kind of a attached member to their parent or guardian.
Yes.
What do you use to symmetrically shape the helmets and shoulders?
The helmets are resin cast usually. These are basically set into a silicone mold and then slush cast with resin. And when once pulled out, it becomes a raw cast, and then you finish it by grinding, cutting, shaping. And then after that, it's just a matter of painting and stylizing, customizing to yourself. One of the things I want to add is that the beauty of this club is that, especially the Mandalorian Mercs, is that you make the kit to you. It's personally you. It's a character that you created. It's not, you don't have this, we have certain guidelines that we have for membership approval, but once you get past those basic guidelines, you custom create your own Mandalorian. This is your character. Nobody can tell you this color is wrong, or that color is wrong, or this sash is wrong, or that is wrong. As long as it sticks to the costume regulations that we have, which are very simple regulations. After that, you create who you are.
Really quickly, just to follow on that, there's actually 3 main ways of doing helmets. Like that, as I say, like that one, there is the casting method, which we have several helmet casters here. Then there's also where you can purchase something that's like a Jango Vet 2-piece Boobies helmet, and then you can, basically it's like the front and the back of the helmet you put together. It's very simple. You can get them like $30 to $40, and then you have to completely redo it so that the seam is gone. You have to use it together, sand over, make it really nice. There's some other modifications. There are instructions on the forums for how to do that. And then the third method is, like mine, is a scratch build, where I use templates that I got from the forums, or actually from the Dented Helmet, which is a big Boba Fett fan club. I print them out. I used initially like the top of a sports helmet, and then the sides were apart from the templates. I used for sale signed plastic because it bent easy to the shape. I've since reinforced it with a little bit of Centro around the bottom because it wobbled, it would crack, it was bad. And then, yeah, I got like other bits and pieces like I have attached inside, and easily if you do the scratch building route, the worst part ever will be these cheekbone manuals. They hate you. They hate you and everything you stand for. It's great.
And we have examples of all of these helmets at our booth on display. The gentleman all the way in the back has been raising his hand for a really long time.